Okay, welcome to my farming. Really, it's kind of like a boot camp. This is a rapid fire class, and it's designed, like I was saying, to kind of get you thinking about all the different opportunities and the ways that you can take advantage and grow your business. I think a lot of people underestimate the power and the value of finding a niche and really becoming the master of that niche, and also in figuring out an effort that aligns with your belief system to get the most return on your investment. And it all starts with making a decision and then making a commitment to sticking to the decision you've made. So, in my travels and in my journeys and in my conversations, I find a lot of people, when it really comes down to it, they are not making a decision. They're thinking about, should I do this? Maybe I'll do that. Contemplating this. Well, I want to see, did it work for someone else? I mean, they talk themselves in these circles, and a decision is actually just never made. That's really what I'm seeing. And then if a decision is made, I'm seeing a lack of consistency and commitment to that decision. So I'm going to go through some things today. And what I want you to do is have a notepad ready, write down anything that resonates with you that you either want a copy of, you want to edit it and make your own, you want to figure out how can I get this implemented and done. That's what I'm here for. So I am here to help you take these ideas to the next level at your office. So you've got to decide what aligns with you. So a lot of this stuff you might be like, love it, love it, love it, hate it, love it, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, love it. We're all wired differently. But I can help you put any of this into your business plan for 2019. So if it's something that aligns, write it down, reach out to me, and let's make sure we figure out how to get it implemented so that you can not only make the decision, but you can actually start executing. First thing I'm just going to pull up here is a listing tracker. And this is an activities for new business that you're trying to get your return on investment every time you get a listing. So I have shared this with a few folks in the office, and I'm happy to share it with anybody that would like it. You can edit this. These are just things to remind you of ways that you can grow your business every time you have a listing by 3. That's your goal, really, in my opinion. That's how you can really put economies of scale and have rapid growth in your business, is every time you have one piece of business, you're able to obtain 3 more because you're being proactive and intentional. So you'll notice we just have the basics. What are the listing dates? Who's this client? Did I put the sign up? Is the lockbox on? Did I put showing time set up? Is the client being notified? AdWorks. You have 7 free days of AdWorks. Did you go in there and make sure that you've added your seller? Are you doing any additional weeks in AdWorks, which you would put in the cost? If you are. If not, it's just free for 7 days, and you're trying to see, does anybody click on that listing in the 7 days? Do they come to the open house if you do an open house and modify that listing, modify that ad for 7 days? Are you getting any return because people had ended up on your website or because you drove them to your open house? You're trying to be proactive and intentional, so you have to be looking for the return. Sometimes, if you don't look for it, if you don't have the intention set, you're never going to get it. Are you doing 4 postcards every time you get a listing? If you figure out what 250 postcards is every time you get a listing times 4, that'll be $1,000, right? 250, well, whatever the cost is, sorry. 250 postcards go out to the same group of people 4 different times. So every time I get a listing, I do my message about, hey, we just put this house on the market, my 7-step pricing strategy and 15-point high quality exposure plan is put in motion. We're hoping to have a quick sale for your neighbors. If you're thinking about doing something, we would love the opportunity to come and chat, whatever your message is. It's not just a plain Jane just listed with no call to action, no story, no reference about why someone should call you, nothing that differentiates yourself, then I would say don't bother doing it. So you want to have a good message. And you're going to wait and you're going to see, does anybody fill out the Cloud CMA? Does anybody call me on that first postcard? If not, this return right here stays blank. I didn't get anything. When it goes under contract, we do the same thing. We have another compelling message. We tell a story. We're driving them to the cloud CMA. Okay, now time has gone by. Did I get a return? Same thing for the just sold, and then 45 days later. What you want to do is make sure that you're trying to use the farming of your listings over as long as possible. If you can get those postcards to dribble out over 6 months, that's a win, because every time someone puts their house on the market, 7 other people are typically considering a move in the next 6 months to 12 months. So if we can stay in front of them for that 6 months, there's a good chance that 1 or 2 might be ready to make a move. And because we had such a good, compelling story, and we drove them to a CMA, which also in turn generated a lead for us, and we were able to open up that conversation, then you have a good chance of getting 1 to 2 pieces of business just from your postcard initiative. The people that are proactive and intentional and do this with a plan of attack are typically pretty successful in getting at least 1 or 2. Now, this is just if you're in a listing where you don't normally farm. So this would just be your 4 type things that you're trying to do. Professional photography. Are you spending money on professional photography? If so, hopefully, you need to be putting how much are you spending? How much are you spending on additional marketing? Are you doing any, how much does it cost to do your flyers? How much does it cost to print all your property disclosures? You need to be tracking all of your expenses on all of your listings so that you can then track your return on investment. Back at You Media. Are you utilizing Back at You Media? How deep have you gone with the free service of Back at You Media? Are you running any Facebook ads? And then if you hold an open house, what is your return? Typically, we're seeing anywhere from 3 to 5 new pieces of business from every open house. That's a very low estimate. The ones that have really been doing the open house boot camp and the open house strategy and doing the effective before, during, and after are having phenomenal results with open houses. But I put in, you should get at least minimum 3 either buyers or sellers from open houses. But there's a cost associated to that. So you need to be tracking everything. The higher your service fee, then the higher your return on your investment, right? And so these are going to level out depending on the sales prices and what you charge. And I would recommend that everybody stop saying the word commission and just start using either brokerage fee or service fee. I would probably just use service fee. I think my estimated cost to my net sheet to the seller, I think it even says on there, real estate brokerage fee. Like, it doesn't say commission. I would really try to get out of ever using the word commission again, personally. Do you write thank you notes to your sellers? Either when you first take the listing, maybe you write them just a personal note during the listing. Maybe thank you note and personal note. Maybe you do 3 such notes. Personal touch during the time that you have that listing. That's just a great way for you to really elevate your service. And then tracking your weekly calls. So track all your activities. Do you send them any videos? How are you keeping up with them? And again, at the end, then you'll be able to put your total spend, your net commission, and that will give you your return on your investment in dollars and percent. What you're trying to do is fill the bottom 3 spots here. 3 pieces of business every time you get a business. You can also create one of these for a buyer. It's just going to have different costs associated with that. So if you don't know what your hourly fee is, I'll be happy to sit down and show you how to calculate how much you're worth per hour. Once you know what you're worth per hour, you really start to take control, and you become much more aware of how precious time is, and more importantly, how precious your time is, and how that's our only limit. And once you spend it, you can't get it back. So this is something I just wanted to start out by saying, please have a tracker of some sort for everything that you spend so that you can really start to see what your ROI is. So that's the first thing. Any questions just on the return on investment tracker? I'll open it up for like 15 seconds, type in any questions. I'll be notified if you do put in a question so we can have some interaction. I'm glad some more folks have hopped on. Hello, good morning. That this is, and again, write down anything that you would like a copy of. I'm not just going to send out everything to everybody. There's just no need for that. But I would be happy to provide you with exactly what it is that you want. All right, so that's the first one that we're going to go through. Next one, I'm going to pull up, is the new prospect listing letter. I have spoken about this many times in class, so some of you might, if you want to go get a coffee because you've already heard this, go ahead. If this is new to you, please, 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 please listen to this. And if you will implement, I almost want to say that I could guarantee business. Everyone that I know that has actually done this more than once has gotten new business from it. I have an agent and he works in Loganville. He started this new prospect letter back 2 or 3 years ago. I think this is going on his 3rd year. Started it when I just said it in a class, and you know they always say like 1 to 2% of people will actually do what they hear. He went and said, this is definitely going to work. I like this. So it was in line with his belief system. He picked a neighborhood and he started sending this out. I will tell you, and no lie, you can pull up the stats. He has just closed his 12th property in this neighborhood because of this letter, and then he coupled on with the letter circle prospecting. So he not only mails this letter every time a home is listed, and a lot of them now are his listings, he follows them up with phone calls. Not every time, not every single month, but this whole neighborhood has become part of his niche, and he's made over $80,000 just from this letter alone in the last 2 years. Unbelievable. I still can't wrap my head around why people aren't doing it. So maybe it's in my delivery, or maybe it's they needed the proof of evidence, or maybe it just doesn't align with people. Can't quite figure it out. But I do know that I have heard from so many people, and I've shared this around the country, so many people that have adopted this, they've done it, they've won, and then I've actually had people that do it, get a big piece of business from it, and then don't do it again. Like, there's also that group. So there's the people that, wow, this is just part of my wheelhouse, and then the people that, wow, that worked. Oh my gosh, yeah, why aren't I doing it again? So they kind of needed the reminder. This is designed for a neighborhood that you would like to be farming in, your niche. So you want to look for your geographical niche, whatever. You can send this to 250 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, whatever your niche is. I would encourage you to pick a neighborhood and start with 250. That's kind of how the farming works, is you start that first year with 250. And this letter actually, and it's Robert Smith, and he actually does not, I don't believe he even does monthly postcards anymore. He simply does the letter. So it's designed for every time a house goes up for sale. You pick a neighborhood, you put yourself on a saved search to be notified when a house gets listed. When the house gets listed, you come in here and you already have the letter done. So it could be, you could either have it mail merge if you go ahead and pull in the names and addresses from the tax records, or you can just put hi neighbor, or you can just put good afternoon, like whatever. Don't overthink it. As the neighborhood expert of Richland, I want to inform you that your neighbors at 123 Holly Street just put their home up for sale and you put in the price. So all you're doing is filling those 3 blanks, and then the letter goes out every single time. Don't overthink it. Now, the body of the letter, you may want to adjust to fit. Obviously, you're not going to have my shortened URL for the Cloud CMA in here, but you may want to change this to fit your personality, your style. You may want to shorten it. It's completely up to you. This letter is not like the best letter in the world. I think it's pretty effective, but it may need to be tweaked. I created this a couple of years ago. So more importantly, this may have changed the value of your home. I have found that when a house goes up for sale, there are usually 7 other families that are also considering a move in the next several months. So don't say like they're looking to move now. Paint the picture in the next 24 months. Like, you want them to know that you're here for the long haul. You're not just looking for the person today. That's where most people really fall short, is that they're always they're thinking that when I send out the postcard, I should get business. No, when you're sending out the postcards in the letter, you're planting seeds. And we don't get to eat the fruit the day we plant the seed. So this is a long-term commitment. I mean, I don't know, 12 homes, 80 grand over 2 years from one measly letter in conjunction with all the other business I'm doing. I think I'm going to do it. Like, it just makes sense. This is so powerful. And you can add in so much other things in here. My 7-step pricing strategy, 15 high quality point exposure plan. Like the sky's the limit with the content of this. This is just to give you a starting point. Many may just be curious to know how the new sale will impact the value of their home. If you're one of these people and would like to know if your value has changed, and you don't want to have to pay to find out, so we need to like edit it here a little bit, please don't hesitate to contact me at your earliest convenience. I would love the opportunity to serve you without having you feel there's any obligation in return. I like to make it easy for folks to get the latest information about neighborhood activity. You can easily and quickly go to, here's where we're going to put in the shortened URL for you, for whatever neighborhood this is, and we can just take the landing page from the Cloud CMA link, go into Remax, create a shortened URL, so it's easy for me to go, oh, what was that URL? Oh, okay, http rem.ax, okay, that makes sense, Remax, / Holly's home value. I would actually change the back end of this to be whatever community I'm trying to farm. So if it was Richland, I would just say Richland activity, or Richland home value, or just Richland. The easier that it is for them to take it from paper to the computer, the better. Enter your address for all the recent activity in your community. The report will come back instantly for your review. My site does not provide you an exact value, as no computer can really do that accurately, since computers fail to evaluate with consideration of the 3 most important value factors. Now, I'm not telling them what those 3 factors are, but I'm planting the seed. I wonder what the 3 value factors. Well, how come the computer can't do it? I am also happy to chat about any questions you have, so feel free to call me at whatever, email me. I'll be happy to get you. I look forward to hearing from you, and if you're one of those 7 considering a move, I certainly hope to earn your business. Our 7-step pricing strategy, trademarked, and 15-point exposure plan are sure to get the results you desire in your next move. You can tear this apart. You can just say, I like the idea, I hate the letter, I love the letter, I'm just going to put my name on it, whatever, it doesn't matter. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to show people that you are the consistent person who knows what's going on in the neighborhood, you're committed to reaching out, you're really into what you do, you're confident about your service, and you're here for the long haul. Every time a listing goes up, this goes out, period. Now we have another letter for when it's your listing, because what's going to start to happen, like what happened with Robert, is now he's had 12 sales in a neighborhood in 2 years. Now you're the one that's sending out, and you don't stop. You don't take it for granted when you start to earn people's business. You continue to do what got you there. This letter, and honestly, if you had someone that could mail it out for you, I mean, it couldn't be but like $100 or something, or whatever it is, $100, $120 for 250 letters, if that. Go buy a ton of envelopes. Go ahead and just print out return labels with Remax Around Atlanta and your name on it. They're going to open it, trust me. Don't overthink it. Even if 20 people out of 250 opened it, it's a win. When they keep getting the consistent message that you're really into it, you're telling them what's going on, you keep putting that CMA link in front of them. Oh, maybe you know what, last month I didn't really care a bunch, but now 6 months later, shoot, we're getting relocated. I wonder what is going on in my neighborhood. Like if we don't, that's what all these other companies do. They just keep offering things to people to go to the website. We don't offer out anything, so then we wonder why nobody's doing anything. You got to get in the mindset of, I'm doing this and I don't care what the return is. Don't think about the return. That's why people fail at farming, because they think every time they send something out, they should get a return. The people that understand farming know that this is something that just happens behind the scenes while you're out doing your other business. The mailings are going. The mailings are going. Set it and forget it. And then all of a sudden things start to happen and things start to happen and you're like, oh my God, this is crazy. But you got to put it out there. So if you don't have a budget and you're not willing to do it for a minimum of a year, I would recommend that you wait until you are. Wait until you have the budget and wait until you're all in, which means you're committed for a minimum of a year. See, the fact that Robert committed to a year, he'll never stop now because the magic started to happen. See, the magic doesn't happen on month 1. So you have to get out of that mindset. New prospect listing letter. If you want this, please email me. I will send it to you. I can help you edit this and make it even better. All right, next letter. This one is show off your neighborhood. So the new prospect letter goes out because it's not your listing. So you're just telling everybody, hey, just wanted to let you know there's a new property out there. Now you're going to start to get listings. You might like to do this instead of a listing letter. And you can, again, tailor this one. So here, dear neighbor, I'm excited to say that I just listed your neighbor's home over at blah, blah, blah. Some people may think that this doesn't have much to do with them, but this may be the only time in your life that you actually get to show off how incredible your neighborhood really is. I have sold many homes in this area and truly believe in everything that the neighborhood and its good people like yourself have to offer. If you have the same belief in your neighborhood, I hope you'll consider letting me know of anyone that you think of that is looking to buy in an area like yours. I can be reached at blah, blah, blah. In addition, you may not have known this, but your neighbor deciding to sell may have actually changed the value of your home. Let me know if you would like to know if your value has changed. See, letters, I have an agent. She is a major top producer. I think she was #2 in Neymar this year. Works by referral, but ooh, she's like, oh, I do just listed, but I don't do postcards anymore. I do letters. And she does letters, and they tell a story about how much she loves the neighborhood and how she's excited to be helping this family and what her strategies are and what her skills are. And she picks up 1 to 2 pieces of business. And I think, I'll check with her, but I think she only does the 1 letter. Like, she's not even doing the 4-part series that I recommend, because she's got a very healthy business already. But she knows that she wants to continue to put new opportunities into her business and grow. So I think she might do a just listed letter and a just sold letter. But she's like, I gave up on the postcards. The letters tell a much better story, and I typically get a lot better return. So just something to think about. Let's see. You can simply let me know if you would like to know if your value has changed. You can simply visit, again, we're going to do that shortened URL, free, no obligation report on all the activity in your neighborhood. See, I'm not telling them that it's going to give them a value. See, I know better than that. So I'm going to do, while no computer can come close to accurately pricing your home, in parentheses, the 3 most important factors are ignored, right? This can give you insight into what other successful sellers are getting for their home. What is successful sellers from? A 7-step pricing strategy, right? Let's see. This can give you insight. I would be happy to provide you with a Xactimate at your request, which is much better than a guesstimate on Zillow, or you could put than a Zestimate on Zillow. See, we give Xactimates because we actually know the 3 extra factors that are involved, but I'm not going to tell them what that is because I want to leave them hanging. And I want to make sure I have a call to action, which is the Cloud CMA URL that they can easily go and type. And then I'm going to sign it and I'm going to send this out. So this one's the show off your neighborhood letter. And I'm going to go ahead and just open. Any questions at this part? We have the new prospect letter and we have the show off your home neighbor. So the new prospect letter is for listings that are not yours. Show off your neighborhood is for yours. And again, you can tailor this, make it your own. I'd love to hear your ideas because you guys are out in the field and you guys probably have better ideas than I do. So these are just samples. So this is designed for you to get more listings, okay? If you have email addresses and you have purchased email addresses either through Remine or through some other service, there are services out there where you can get email addresses. You can do this as an email. You could really shorten this down and do this as an email. So lots of ways to use these 2 letters. The new prospect letter is probably one of my favorites. All right, so we're going to move on. Again, this is going to be kind of rapid fire. I want to try to touch on all the areas. The next one's going to be if you're holding an open house. So a lot of people, they don't spend the time. They say Thursday, I think I'll do an open house Sunday. Well, if you're doing an open house on Sunday, you don't have time to really get that full effective ROI out of your efforts just because you don't have enough time, which is why I typically say if you can build in 2 weeks or a week and a half before the open house, brilliant, because it gives you time to really, really make the most of it and get a super return on your investment. But this is just an open house announcement that you could send. You could even just walk and give this to 50 homes, 20 homes, mail it to the nearest 50. You don't have to do 250. I mean, I would, but I know that all this that I'm spending is going to bring back so much more in a return that it's just a no-brainer for me. But you have to work within your confines of your budget and your belief system. This one, if nothing else, use this. Use this first paragraph in your marketing. I don't care if it's in a postcard, in a Facebook ad, whatever. I want to inform you that your neighbors have selected me out of. So if you're at ABR, call up ABR and say, hey, can you tell me how many members we have right now? Your office might even, Megan and Kristen might even know. Find out how many. It just needs to be approximate. So you don't have to call every time you do the letter. Just add in the word approximate. They've selected me out of 4,204 other realtors. Remember, not everybody's a realtor. So we're just looking at, agents, there's about 90,000 agents in Georgia. But you're looking for realtors. And you want to make sure if you use realtors, you use the trademark and you put it in all caps, please. That work this area to help them move because I take an invested approach to getting homes sold. That little paragraph is the phrase that pays for sellers. Because one, they're like, you take an invested, what's that? See, you got skin in the game. You actually do things that other people aren't willing to do, and you can highlight what those things are. So you want to plant a seed of being different and standing out, and that paragraph does it. One of my strategies is to expose the home to as many people as possible, including you and the entire community. Next Wednesday, I'll be holding the townhome open from blah, 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 and I want to invite you to preview this great home. You may have know of someone at work, church, or in your social circles that have been looking. After previewing it, you'll feel confident in telling others. I'll have information you can take with you to pass along. If you would like to know the value of your home, blah, 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 again, you can add in the Cloud CMA thing. See how I'm giving and I'm giving them a resource and I'm asking them to come. I'm highlighting how I'm different. People just get a letter like this and they're gonna be like, dang, they hired a good agent. There's a good chance that people in the neighborhood know your client. Like we could be auditioning to our clients' friends all the time and we don't think about it. But it's very rare that your seller who's been there for 10 years doesn't know a soul in the neighborhood. It's just rare. So how are you impacting all those other people that they're gonna call up and go, dang, did you know your agent sent out this letter? Nobody does this stuff anymore. That's the whole reason to do it. If everybody was doing this, I'd be finding something else that nobody's doing. Because no one's putting forth the effort. It's shocking to me. And the return is huge. The return is huge. So this is all in line with open houses. If open houses are part of your one of your 3 sales channels for 2019, which I hope it is, I would encourage you to incorporate this, whether you walk it and tape it to things, mail it, I don't care. However you can get this out. And you know what? If you got it out to 20 people, that's great. Like it doesn't have to be all or nothing. And I find a lot of people are like, oh, I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I'm like, well, do you have the time to do, 20 houses? Like, couldn't you use an extra 4,000 steps today? Like, could we do 20? Like that's what I want you to know. It's not all or nothing. It's something. It's all or something. We got to do all or something. And then what happens is you start to get this momentum. And then you start to get the results. And then you start to become efficient at this stuff. And when you're efficient, you start to get proficient. And then your return on investment goes through the roof. So open house letter. If open houses are yours and you don't already have the letter, please let me know and I'll be happy to get it to you. All right, what do we have next? So we have that. Now I'm going on. I'm going to do just a couple of things, one for expireds and one for FSBOs. So not sure if either of those are in your wheelhouse, but I really like this payday candy bar campaign. And this works really well for expireds. But it would require you to actually so I've had somebody like kind of play around with this, and instead of actually including the payday candy bar, they actually put a picture of the payday candy bar in here, which I don't think works as well. But if you just got the little tiny fun size and got a different size envelope and mailed out maybe 10 of these a week to expireds, like every Monday morning, you're like, I'm going to find 10 expireds. I'm not even going to call the expireds. Now, this works really well to supplement someone that's already doing the expired approach. But there's some people that are like, you know what? I'm willing to add in another $30 a month, a week, or whatever this cost. I don't even know how much it would cost if you did 10 letters. I don't know, maybe it would be, it might be $30, $3, whatever. You figure out the cost. And you simply mail this. Some people have actually had these printed through Vistaprint in a personal note card. So they've shortened this a little bit, and they actually have these already printed. And then they just slip in the payday candy bar and hand address, and they're doing like 10 a week. So they haven't been doing it consistent enough for me to shout out on the results. So the only results I can go from on this are from the person that I got this from, and that's Jared James. I follow his coaching stuff online and through the Jared James Today Show. And this one just caught my eye because it's so different. And of course, I love things that are different. So this would completely fall in my wheelhouse. I would probably do 10 expireds a week. And just like every Monday, I'd have 10 to get off my plate. I'd already have it stamped. I'd have the paydays standing there. And then I'd just go in and find 10 expireds. But this one, again, my name is Holly, and I work with Remax Realty. I saw that the listing on your house expired today, and I'm hoping that the next time I get a chance to contribute to a payday in your life, it's because we get the opportunity to sell your house. As you have already found out, since your property was for sale and expired, it is more difficult to separate yourself from the overwhelming amount of competition in today's market, and we face the same challenge every day with other realtors when good houses like yours show up and our expired properties list each day. That's a mouthful. I might try to break that into two. But we are hoping that this small example shows you that we know how to separate from the competition, and we can do the same for your house if you still want to sell. I've enclosed my business card, and I will be following up shortly. Please feel free to reach out in the meantime if you are serious about selling. We look forward to hearing from you and hopefully earning the opportunity to strategize about your specific needs. Our powerful 7-step pricing strategy, trademarked, and 15-point exposure plan are getting the job done for our other clients. We want to put it to work for you next time. This could be a letter. This could be shortened into what was I going to say? Sorry. It could be shortened into a personal note. If you have email addresses, it could be put as an email. This could be a great slide. Well, it wouldn't work as a slide dial because you don't have the payday candy bar. But you want to try to really take advantage. This is not going to be for everybody. It's not going to resonate for everybody. I find that it does resonate for a few that kind of have this, oh my God, that's so different. I love it. And it's worth 10 a week to see if I can get any traction. So that's up to you. If anybody does do this and does get results, I would love to hear. I'm all about getting the results. That's why I'm so passionate about the new prospect letter, because I know that works. Like I could show you emails and texts from people like for the last several years that just always get a win with that. All right, so that's that. Now FSBOs, again, FSBOs, I don't think this particular one works very well, obviously, because it's tailored toward expireds. And FSBOs, we follow a very systematic plan with for sale by owners. But if you were to get to week, I don't know, to contact 4 or 5 and just felt like you just weren't getting anywhere, there is a pamphlet for FSBOs that I think is okay. I'm just going to show it. I don't know that I would like just mail this to people, because FSBOs, you really do have to make the connection. It's the relationship, it's the friendship kind of that you create with the FSBOs, because you never ask for their business. So the FSBO strategy is a little bit different. But if you wanted a follow-up brochure on that, I do have one, and it's here. And this is just tips for selling. So kind of the inside gives them tips about keeping your house safe, open house follow-up. So you're giving them some resources. I don't like it to tailor too much about, the back part about having an agent if you give this too quickly to a FSBO. Because remember, for sale by owners, we don't want their listing. Like, we think they're going to be successful. We're just adding them to our in-house inventory list. So if you've taken my FSBO class before, you know that it's a very different strategy than expireds. And if you want to dive deeper into FSBOs, please reach out. I mean, I could go through the whole thing in about 20 minutes with you. Very powerful approach. I actually worked for sale by owners when I was actively selling. So a little bit more passion coming from me on the for sale by owners than the expireds. I never stayed committed enough to the expireds. And I never did the geographic farming, but I think that would be super simple. Like that would be a no-brainer in my opinion. So if you're not circle prospecting, if you want a little bit more about that, or if you want to follow someone that makes $1 million every year doing circle prospecting, I can recommend, so you can follow that person. All right, so we got through a little bit of expired, a little bit of FSBO, a little bit of your listing stuff. Now I also want to talk about how you can incorporate the Momentum 8 and 8 postcards either for a farm area or to your own sphere of influence. So before I go on that, any questions about anything so far? Let me just pull up here. I'm not seeing any questions. Any comments, any ahas, anything look good? Any kind of feedback would be great before I go into the 8 and 8 postcards, just on what you've heard so far. Anybody want to type in anything? I'm going to get a sip of coffee. I guess I've had a lot of coffee this morning. All right, I got somebody to bite. Let's see, what do we got here? Okay, great. So love the letters, but lots of work. The cool thing about the letters is, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that is something that holds a lot of people back. So that's a great point. And I'm here to tell you that once you get the template done and we figure out who's going to do it for you, which a lot of times you can get a virtual assistant that can actually get these mailed and pulled. Even if I was to do it myself, I think I could probably get out 250 letters, which I probably wouldn't fold and stuff myself. I think Kinko, doesn't Kinko's or one of those places actually do the folding for people nowadays, or still? But I would probably just hire out that to a virtual assistant, or I would put on Facebook and looking for someone that would want some extra work and maybe just have it a once a month thing. I know that Robert does it. He's got an assistant, so it's not that big of a deal. But I used to send out and create 150 newsletters every single month when I was selling real estate. I did that for 10 years, never missed a month, and I never outsourced it. And to create the 4-page newsletter, print it, staple it, fold it, label it, stamp it, and put it in the mailbox was a process of about, I don't know, I think it was like 3 hours. The whole thing, even from the creation part. So once you get into a groove, it's not that bad. But when I think about the return on investment, 80 grand over 2 years, because I had to spend 3 or 4 hours doing something, I'm cool with that. I think it's how you view it. And so it's not, I think the other thing is to take your business to the next level. It's not how do I learn how to do something, it's who can I have do it for me. So there is absolutely no way that we couldn't find someone to outsource doing letters for us. And once you have the letter done, you're just changing 3 lines in there. If you like the new prospect letter, you're getting it to them and they're printing it. The labels are easy to pull. So it seems like a lot of work. So I'm definitely with you on that, but I'm glad you put that in there, because I would challenge you to see who we could find to do it. I think we could get it outsourced pretty easily. I really do. So great point. Thank you for bringing that up. Remember, a lot of this stuff is you shouldn't be doing. You're right. You shouldn't be doing it. We should hire someone. So it's not learn how to do it yourself. It's who, not how do I, who can. So think about that too. So great point. Thank you. All right. So now I'm going to move on. So in Design Center, you know what, before I go to Design Center, for those of you that are, did anybody see my tip last week about reconnecting with your old leads to see if you could find anybody that has a current need? Is there anybody on here right now that actually clicked on that little link that said database diagnostic and answered the questions? Did anybody do that? And does everybody know what I'm talking about? Last Friday, I sent out a bomb tip. I'm doing a tip a week for y'all. And it was on how to reconnect with your database. And what I was trying to get you to do was go into Lead Street or wherever you have some old people that you're like, I don't even know who these people are, and just try to send a blanket email to see if you can get someone to say, hey, leave me alone, I'm calling the cops, or hey, I'm glad you reached out, I actually do have a current need. Like we were just trying to see if we could get people to engage. Does everybody remember seeing that last Friday? First of all, I want to make sure everybody got it. I didn't get the bomb. So Stephanie, and I think I checked yours. I looked at, okay, so Kim got it. Stephanie, I'm going to write that down because I thought I went in and checked yours. I may I may have forgotten to go check yours. So Stephanie didn't get it. So this comes, it just comes as a video in your email. And I'm glad you did that, Stephanie, because I definitely wrote you down. I felt like I went in, but I may not have. I have a lot of work to do with it. I got it. We were supposed to, no, you didn't have to respond with a video, but in the video that you got, underneath the video, there was a little link, and I probably placed it too close to the video, but a little link that said database diagnostic. And that is this little test that my friends that own Database Gold have included with their service. And what it does is, and you don't have to subscribe to Database Gold at all, but you click on it and it takes you through a series of questions. And these questions will let you know how good you are with your database. Like, how strong is your database? And it really falls in line like with my top 100. And it gives you a grade out of 150. And it's just a great way for you to see, wow, am I really getting the return investment on my database, which you know I'm very passionate about with Top 100 and with Buffini and with Buy Referral Only and all these other things. So I heard this thing from Joe Stump. If you don't know who Joe Stump is, he is the creator of Buy Referral Only. And Brian Buffini actually used to work for him before Buffini started his own thing. And so anyway, I've been listening. So Joe Stump, the creator, has been sending out these daily text messages with an audio called, I'm going to tell you what they're called. They're really good. I think I want to put them in the Facebook group. It's 21 days, and it's called Joe Stump's Money Making Morning Joe Mindset. And he kind of takes you through the Think and Grow Rich things. But then I think on day 9 or 10, he talks about how our role is to lead, guide, and protect buyers and sellers in the real estate transaction. Lead, guide, and protect. And those 3 words have resonated with me so unbelievably that it's completely transformed how I'm helping agents now communicate with their database, and how we're getting reviews from people and testimonials and matching those up to what service did I provide? Was I leading them? Was I guiding them? Or was I protecting them? Or did I do a little bit of all 3? But that is our value differentiator, and it hit me between the eyes. If you want these series of Morning Joe messages, I can forward them to you in a text message, so just make sure I have your phone number. But anyway, they're so good. It's just 21 days, and each one, I think the longest one is 15 minutes. They're anywhere from 6 to 15 minutes. Really, really good. But what he shared with us was a reconnect letter and how to reconnect with your database, providing value. Now, I don't care if you ever send this letter out, but I want you to read it like 100 times. And I want you to start letting this value proposition just seep into your DNA, who you are, what you do, what you offer, why you're passionate, how you're passionate, and how you lead, guide, and protect. Lead, guide, and protect. This letter, in my opinion, was brilliant. I'm going to show it to you right now. And if you want this letter, I'll be happy to send it to you. You can tailor it. I just want you to ponder this letter and ponder your value. He says some things in this audios that really have blown me away. And I've been such a Buffini girl, I kind of had forgotten about Joe. And now I'm like, move over, Brian. I need to follow Joe more. He's really got it on a deep level. And I want to show you this letter. It's called Reconnect with Value, and it is powerful. He has this designed to go to the last 50 people that you've done business with. That might be 1 year if you're in a business that is a successful business. It might be 10 people if you're in survival. It might be 20 people if you're in, let's see, it goes from what? Survival to success to significance. to whatever. He's got the 4 levels, and each level is defined by how many transactions you do. It's pretty cool. But anyway, today I was thinking about you both as a friend and a client, and even though right now we're not in the process of helping you sell your house or buy a home, I do continue to develop my skills and my abilities so that when the time comes, I will always be on top of my game for both you and the people you feel comfortable introducing me to. Here are 3 skills and abilities that I am improving for you and the people that you feel comfortable introducing me to. Number 1, my ability to inspire, encourage you to make your dreams come true. You have shared with me in the past what's important to you about owning a home, and I feel privileged that you've done that with me, and I will continue to help you expand your vision and your goals so that you live your greatest life. As your goals in your future expand, I would love to be part of helping you make them come true. As a matter of fact, I would love you to consider me part of your goal-achieving team. Now, I don't know about you, but that's on a level that's ridiculous. Like when we talk about the top 100 and going deeper with our clients and articulating our value, what we say is value is not necessarily what clients perceive as value. And Joe makes a great point. He said value is only received when it's recognized. So we don't even know what people are valuing about us. Is it because, oh, you communicated so well? Well, what does that mean? We need to get really specific when we ask people for a review, and we need to really understand what it is we are doing for our clients, not what we think. So and some people will be like, I would never say that to my clients. That's fine. This is by referral only. So there's people that are transaction-based. This is not going to resonate with me personally. Whoa. It put me, I was like, dang, I'd be on such a higher level with people. Plus, I want you to think about how you could incorporate this just in how you communicate if you never mail the letter. Number 2, my ability and my skills to use my experienced judgment to help you make sound decisions. Decision making is both an art and a science, and when you're deciding to paint or landscape, or you're thinking about investing in real estate, rental property, taking out an equity line, these are important decisions. My ability to ask you questions and help you clarify your goals and dreams is something I love to do and I'm very good at. Yikes. How many times do we have people make changes to their house, and then when we go list it 5 years later, we're like, well, you're not going to get the value out of that. Like, are we reminding them that, hey, before you do anything, call me. I want to walk you through it. I want to be that trusted advisor. I want to be the person, all things real estate, not just trying to get a commission when you buy or sell. Like, I have knowledge and expertise. I think that artfully explains that. Number 3, my ability and skills to protect you. Remember, lead, guide, and protect. Protect you from dangerous predators and inaccurate information that could cause you to make disastrous decisions that have long-term impact. I hope everybody, what is going through your brain when you read this last paragraph? Hey, when you hear or see something that sounds too good to be true, it probably is. I would advise you to always take out your cell phone, look up my number, and call me before you act on something that may not be in your long-term interest. My responsibility is to protect you and your real estate and your lending decisions. I'm grateful to be on your team, and I look forward to a lifelong relationship. I would love your feedback. I don't know about you, but first of all, I want to know, what do you all think about when you read that last paragraph? Like, if you didn't like anything in this letter, what do you think of when you read that number 3? Feedback? What are decisions people could be making that could be disastrous for them long term? What's information that they're seeing? What are shiny objects for consumers? I'm not going to say what I think, so I'll leave that one for y'all. Nobody's putting in anything. You can ponder that one. I'm actually not going to give my opinion on that. So think about it. I would love to hear what you come up with when you think about it. And if you don't think there's shiny objects for consumers, I'm not sure where y'all have been, but that you might be in a different place than me. This letter, I love it. So this is the Reconnect with Value letter. I hope that you'll request this, and even if you never send it out, internalize some of these talking points. I think you did a brilliant job at actually laying it out in a letter format. I love it. Okay, I'm going to move on to the postcard ideas. These are the 8 and 8 postcards that are right in Design Center. So these are easy to grab, However, I would encourage you to make some adjustments, which is why I have them in Word format so that we can actually put these onto the postcards. And the reason being is the ones that are in Design Center don't have like this, the call to action with the home value. So you can use the ones that are in Momentum, but they don't really have a call to action. So there's a couple of ways you can use them. They're great to use for farming. So I could send out these series of letters that each one tells a story. See how it's like you need more than a realtor. Before listing your home, it's important to understand there's differences. And at the end of each postcard, it says to be continued. It's great because it's setting up the stage for them to receive another one. So they are waiting for something to come. So the reason I like these is because you kind of are making that commitment every time you put to be continued at the bottom. So I like that. And these also lay out a story about how you do business. And it follows the Momentum listing. It follows the listing conversion really, really well. That's what it really sends. So hold on, let me make a note here. Okay. So pricing here, again, it talks about pricing, and there's 8 of these. So these 8 postcards are designed to go out 1 a month. Sometimes people will do them 1 a week. Now, a cool way that you could actually use these, the other thing I wanted to tell you is that there's a series of these that you could send to buyers. So whenever you start working with a buyer, you could actually even just send them these postcards. You could send these postcards to your sellers even after you already start a relationship. So they're not always just for farming, they're for reinforcement, like reinforcement of your service, reinforcement of who you are. So there's a lot of ways that you can use these, and I'd be happy to sit down and explain it a little bit more in detail, like, you know, how you could use these and how you could set this up to use it even if you didn't want to farm with it. Like there's several ways to use this without farming. Another way that a gal did in another office, which I thought was great, at the end of last year, she sent out this thank you letter to everyone in her database, her whole sphere of influence. I'm not sure how many people she had. And what she did was she sent this letter and thanked them and said, hey, I want to thank everybody. This year, 61% of my business came from referrals from people like you, people that I've worked with, friends and family, and I just wanted to say a big thank you. Whatever. So it was an end of year thing. And then it said, you know, I want to continue the trend going forward, and I've made some adjustments to my service. And then at the bottom, like she did it as a PS, which I thought was really cool. So it was underneath her name. She put PS, over the next several weeks, you'll be receiving a postcard in the mail that outlines how I run my business and the service I provide to my clients. I want to make sure that you feel comfortable in referring me and knowing what kind of service or whatever, something like that. So what she was doing, she was setting the stage to send out these cards to her sphere of influence. And that way they got these cards, and for a series, I'll have to ask her if she did it 8 weeks in a row, and it may have been 50 people, 25 people. You could just do it to your top 20. And it just reinforces, hey, this is how I take care of my clients. Because people do want to know what kind of level of service you provide when they're referring. So I thought it was a great twist on how to use this. The other thing you could do is set this into a series of emails. And that way it could just be an email series to leads you haven't worked with, to your sphere of influence. Hey, I just want to let you know how I'm taking care of my clients or whatever. So I liked that she mailed it, but I started thinking that you could easily do a video series and couple some of these together. So lots of ways we can use the content from the 8 and 8 postcards, not just for a neighborhood. So what we did was we did kind of change them, and each postcard we added for a free activity report visit. And this is a gal, Melissa. She lives in Wild Timber, and she got a lot of business from doing these postcards. She mailed these to her entire neighborhood, and she just did them 1 a month. And then each time, and she said she had lots of people that would click on that landing page at all different times, like not, right at the beginning. And so I think we had a series of 6 of them. So there were 2 in there that we just didn't totally like. But I can send you these ideas and you can tailor these. These could be videos. These could be Facebook ads. This could be a Facebook series. This could be a carousel ad. It could just be messaging. You could do it. You could do little videos in your YouTube channel. These are videos you could work on for our websites when we get Booj. You could have a whole section about how I serve my clients, and it could just be short little videos where you're actually just reading these. So there's a lot of ways, if you don't have a budget, that we can still use the information. So I encourage you, all you need to do, I'd like to show you where these are so you can kind of look. I can email you, where I have it already laid out, and we can create those postcards for you pretty simply. But let me just in case you want to check them out in Design Center, let me just show you real quick where those are. And then, and let me know if you have questions, because that's pretty much going to wrap up. Again, it was rapid fire. I was trying to hit all the different areas: by referral, new listing, FSBO, expired, emails, video campaigns. I also have a list that could show you different reasons on why you could create short videos for when you're working with buyers and sellers. If you want that video list, make sure you email me so that I can get you the information. It's easier if I just can know who wants what. So if you can email me, that would be great. And I'd love to know your feedback on that Reconnect letter. I thought it was really powerful. And I really liked some of the wording in there. So I think that would be a really cool thing to explore, either in your conversations moving forward or in using the letter as it is, honestly. When I come into Mac Center, I'm just going to click over here to Design Center. And when you come into Design Center, okay, you'll see here, there's like a little search area, and it just says Search Designs. The easiest way I found to find it is just to type in Momentum and hit Enter. And then see how it just brings up Momentum. And what happens is I just happen to know that on page 5, I'm going to go right to page 5. The last postcard is actually the touch one. So see, when I hover on it, it says 8 and 8 referrals for sellers postcard. So it's a seller one. And then it says option 1, touch 1. So you can kind of follow the series. And then as you go left, it'll say, see, option, when it says option 1, the reason there's 2 different front postcard designs. There's the one that says for 10 years, we've been whatever. And then the other one, I think, says every 30 seconds. So it's just the front changes, but the message stays the same. Then we have touch 2, touch 3, touch 4. And then as you work your way backwards, see, you can just pull up these postcards, and I mean, you could just use them the way they are. And then you'll see we have one buyers. So you touch 3 for buyers, and the buyers are great. I would probably send these out every time I had a buyer. You could kind of see, maybe check in the order, because it would depend on your relationship. But these are great messages for email campaigns. You do not want to fall in love with a home you cannot buy. As your real estate consultant, I will not put my needs above yours by tempting you with homes that fall outside your financial comfort zone. So they're just messaging that follow the buyer conversion from Momentum. So another great resource right here at our fingertips. And then there's also newsletter templates in here. There's email templates. There's mail templates for newsletters. So be thinking about how you want to stay connected with your database and how you want to grow a niche. And that may be a geographical niche, which is typically the most effective. So pick a neighborhood if farming is something you want to do. And we can explore a multi-prong approach and how you can put all this stuff together. And don't become overwhelmed. We can absolutely find someone to do this stuff. There's no way. I know we can. We can find a virtual assistant. We can put an ad out. We can just put a word out on Facebook. There's tons of people that have kids that would love to stuff envelopes. So again, we want to try, instead of learning how to, let's find out who can. So instead of us doing it, let's put our heads together and figure out how we can have somebody else do it. So I wouldn't want that to stop you from, really taking advantage of how you can really start to grow a presence and become the expert in an area. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for today on farming. If there's any other areas that you're wondering about, do you have a farm for this? I do have, like, if you're doing a closing, sometimes when people work with buyers, they'll do pizza for them for their moving day. So I have a pizza order form for moving day. So just, I have lots of different things. So if there's an area that you're like, oh, I'd like to farm for this concept, or let me know. I may already have it, or it may be something that I could certainly find pretty easily. Any comments or questions as we wrap up? Don't forget to email me, Holly at the1hourcoach.com or hollyfogle at remax.net, and then just put in there exactly what you want, and I'll make sure that that's exactly what you get. Hopefully this was beneficial, and I'm happy to take any questions right now for a couple of minutes or comments. Anything, or are we good? Anybody see anything that they do want to take action on? Did anybody feel inspired to take action on something today? So we got Marie. Let's see. Raise your hand. How do I get to you? Let's see. I don't know how to get to you. Oh, I can talk. Hey, Marie. Let's see. I'm trying to unmute you.
Hey, Holly. How are you?
Hey, how's it going, Marie?
Good. I love the Joe Stump letter.
Oh my gosh, is that not ridiculous?
Yeah, I think we need to do that. That was great. And I have a virtual assistant that I use that could use some more business. So I'm going to send you her contact information.
Thank you.
You can share it with everybody.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I can help people get the letter done. Once it's done, it's not bad. You know, I can help everybody get this set up. I'm so glad you love that letter. I knew you would. That letter was completely like, I was blown away. And I don't know if you're listening to his money making mindsets. Have you heard of that?
No.
I'll forward you a couple of them so you can kind of get a taste for it. Really good stuff.
Yeah.
Really good.
Thank you, Holly. Appreciate
you. Thank you. Thanks for hopping on today. And let's see, I think I got another chat here. Good, we got great information. Good, I will get everybody what they need. Thanks for hopping on. Look for these webinars on a regular basis, as well as tips. And I'm here to help any way that I can. So I hope you all have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.